You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of Atlanta After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Real Housewives of Atlanta After Show.
Yo, what up, AfterBuzzers? Bing is for doing, and we are here doing a very special after show for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's your boy DJ Jesse here in studio with
Courtney Stewart.
Mykee Wattz, what's up?
I'm back, booze. It's Corrinne Williams. Holler.
Now, we're here doing a very special episode with the stars of Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Superstar.
We have Miss the Southern Belle, Phaedra Parks.
Oh, yeah.
And her husband, Apollo Nida.
Yes. You got it right. You got it right.
Hey.
Got it right.
They came all the way from Atlanta. You guys are here in Los Angeles.
LA.
What brings you to LA?
You guys, of
AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV.
Nice.
We heard and we just had to come.
All right. I thought it was because you were on the set of The New Normal.
Oh,
bang.
Well, I don't think they're taping right now.
No, she's just reading.
She's just being messy.
She's being messy.
Honey, I am interviewing.
Now, Phaedra, I saw something that I actually didn't know, but that you were a consulting producer of the Tiny and Toya show?
I sure was.
Really? How'd you get involved with that?
Well, of course, I know both of them, and prior to that, I had been involved with the B and Bobby Brown show, and doing a few court shows, and so they had come to me with an idea, and they wanted to do a TV show, and I helped them pretty much get it sold and on air.
Very nice.
What's up? She's so fancy.
Doing big things.
All things.
And I know you guys are also out here. We got you guys together because, of course, what's been going around is the Fine Body DVD that you guys released.
H-I-N-E. Fine.
Now, I have to say, I was surprised because I was Googling Donkey Booty DVD.
Yes.
What happened to the donkey booty?
What happened to Donkey?
Something came up.
Not what I needed to look at. I'm just kidding.
So it's probably good you didn't go that direction.
But obviously, you guys didn't go with Kenya's production company.
No, we did.
You ended up going with...
we went with Win Productions. Watch It Now.
Watch It Now.
Okay. Who is infamous. We saw you guys on the show with them. Infamous for Jane Fonda.
Madonna, Kim Kardashian. Suzanne Somers, Billy Blanks. I mean,
Bob
they're
Harper.
just Bob Harper. They basically are like the leading fitness production company in America. They sell over 30 million videos per year.
So who was the company that she had for you guys? Because she said they were #1 in distribution, and I was like,
no, it was her own company.
Well, she said she had this distribution deal, but we never saw any paperwork for it. So,
Yeah, that was my next question. So, in terms of what we actually saw on TV with dealing with Kenya and the deal with the whole distribution, was there a lot left out? Because Kenya kind of got put as the pitiful one. Oh, I just wanted a little extra.
Well, no, like my wife is a real stickler about business. So, like she said, there's no paperwork. You can't just talk. Like with Phaedra, it has to be on paper.
Right.
Business is business. At the end of the day, it's a lot of talking. Well, I brought you this, but we haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Our attorney's never seen anything.
Yeah.
Even the breakdown, when she was talking about the 10% and the back fees and everything, that was not even on paper. So the whole time when Phaedra was like, well, where is it at? Show me. We never discussed it.
Well, she did have something on paper. I mean,
she had pictures.
No, she didn't.
No, listen. Girl, you know I'm about to read right now.
I saw the
She had on paper. She said 6 weeks of post-production that she did.
Pre-production.
Well, we hadn't even known her but 4 weeks.
Girl.
So I don't even understand.
Well, she in the second episode she changed it to 4 weeks.
Yeah, so we hadn't known her for that long. But you know what a lot of people don't know, we were getting RFPs, which is a request for proposal. Proposal means give me something in writing. I'm an attorney, have been practicing for 13 years. I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. Come on now. So now, if you asking me for $100,000 up front, I need my attorneys to review it. That's a smart businesswoman. Right. And if you're telling me you're doing $20 million deals, I would think you'd have an attorney on retainer, and you wouldn't be avoiding speaking to our attorney or saying I don't answer questions. And as far as the distribution deal, we did not want her distribution deal. We didn't ask for that. We asked for you to bring out some cameramen, tape us working out, and that's all. You know, because I've been a consultant producer on many shows
that have made it on TV.
And did quite well. So I went to school so that I could speak for myself. I don't need any age and beauty queens to speak for me.
I just died. Okay. Somebody resuscitate me.
So now I thought it was interesting because Apollo, you said in the meeting, you're sitting here talking about $100,000 and 10%. Now maybe we could bring it down to $50,000. Was she ever budging with the $100,000 budget that she said?
Not at all.
No, and
but
she
still
wanted
a
to be in an account that only had her name on it.
Oh, okay. Well,
suspect.
That'll be some questions for when Miss Kenya Moore comes in.
Wow.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so, I mean, I always want to give women an opportunity because I'm a woman, I'm a black woman. And so, my goal was to try to find a production company that was, being led by a woman. And so we had looked at several production companies, of course, since she's on the show, that's obviously what they were going to show. But, business is business. And, she tried, for free. And I said, $100,000 is never free, honey.
Amen.
I'm like,
Amen.
That ain't free where I'm from.
Did she ever, on the show, she said that she was hurt because she felt like you guys were friends. Was that kind of a little out of character that you said you've only known her for 4 weeks?
Well, I mean, I don't know how... I do like her.
The energy
at the
was
time,
good.
she, I'd known her for 4 weeks and maybe had seen her 4 times. So I'm not sure, she can be delusional at times. And so I'm not sure how we could be such close friends because I really have more dealings with the bag boy than I because I go to the grocery store more than, I know her. So I couldn't really understand why she thought we were such great friends.
Well,
I'm going to tell you why.
I'm going to say, because, as on the previews, I think you might know why. You allege on the previews, that she's an alcoholic and could be bipolar. Now, she released a statement saying that she has never been drunk in the past however many years. That was her statement. And then also that to accuse her of having any sort of chemical imbalance in her is ridiculous. But on the Anguilla trip, we all heard Walter ask where her pills were.
Have you taken your meds?
Right.
That's what he said.
Now, he could have just been reading her for fun, or...
Well, he was reading her the whole season, thus far. I was like, how you gonna let Flat Top gangster you? But anyways.
Not Flat Top.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, she be going in
it's
on Walter's
not even
head.
a cute Flat Top that's coming back. It's just like old man Flat Top. But anyways, question for both of you. So, well, more so for Phaedra. So at Todd's birthday dinner, when Kenya came up to Apollo, she pulled him to the side and tried to talk business. Like, it seemed like she was undermining you in a way. Why didn't you just go for the jugular and just
Well, see, I didn't even see that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see that. But, at the end of the day, she always seems to like to undermine people. And we are a team.
Well, not only
this
that,
is my
I think
husband.
she felt like she could back.
Not my boyfriend.
She felt
my
like
husband.
Exactly.
Yeah, she felt like she could backdoor it because we, you know, I mean, it's a group venture.
Right.
So she figured that maybe if she could persuade me to think one way, then I would go back and say, hey, you know, whatever. But
do you feel like she was kind of being, well, obviously she was being messy, but messy not just business-wise, but obviously what happened in Anguilla where it was made to seem that she was coming on to you. Did she ever carry that out, or did you, like, after you laid that down in Anguilla, did she cut that out?
Well,
no.
Or was it kind of blown up on
Well, I
TV?
think it might have been a little over-exaggerated. I mean, and here's the thing. She did drink quite a bit on the trip. And so when people are under the influence of alcohol or any other substance, you know, can they form the mens rea, which is the mental capacity to obviously determine whether or not they are making the right decision. Right. So, you know, I gave her a pass the first time, you know, she threw him in the pool. I was like, well, you know, I know she's been drinking with the guys because she definitely loved hanging out with the guys and taking the shots, you know, and they, you know, he'll drink tequila and act like a fool.
Well,
and,
Peter.
And
that John.
she was drinking the tequila with the guys too. And, you know, so I don't drink, you know, I occasionally drink, but I'm not a drinker. So, but I've seen, you know, I represent a lot of hip hop clients and a lot of people in general in entertainment, and they love to
drink,
partake in all kind of deadly substances. And so I know what it's like to be under the influence. So, you know, being a lawyer, when you are under the influence, sometimes that will give you a pass because you can't form, you know, the capacity to make that type of decision. So the first time I said, well, you know, the next day we talked about it, and I was like, she's like, yeah. So I said, okay, cool. But then when she came with the question, that just burned my biscuit.
Was that the only question she asked? Did she ask more uncomfortable questions?
Oh, no, that was the only question. I stopped that right there.
Last of it? Okay.
I shut that right down because you know.
You said not over here. So what was the reaction when you saw the playback? Because you're watching it with us as viewers. When she goes, "Ooh, Apollo, he fine." I was like, no, she didn't.
Well, see, you know, of course I see that after it's after it's released. So, you know, when we're shooting it, you don't see that. But, I mean, anyone with eyes, I've got a good-looking husband. But as a woman, this is my husband, so you need to respect the institution of marriage. But not all women are ladies. You know, there are some whores and there are some slores. That's a hybrid of a slut and a whore.
All women don't ask for men's sperm when they first meet them? All right.
Oh, my gosh.
So, you know, I mean, everyone has a different level of decorum. And, you know, it's made me write a book about it, to be exact.
You know,
coming soon.
Put an insert in there about pedigree too.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just saying.
I felt like
stallion kind.
The stallion kind.
Just saying.
I feel like the whole Gone with the Wind situation got overblown, no pun intended. But my favorite part of that whole situation was you.
Yeah, definitely.
From the whole beginning of Portia and Kenya's conversation, you were just watching from the sideline, eating your whipped cream.
Because it was homemade whipped cream. So it was quite delicious. You know, it's nothing better than homemade fresh whipped cream. Oh, it's decadent.
And then your facial expressions when this bitch was doing her little twirls and spins, and you almost got hit too in the middle.
It did look like it.
Like,
all right now.
She's very dramatic. I'll give it to Kenya. She's quite a drama queen. She's a very dramatic young lady.
Now, that you
or
say that
woman rather.
Woman. So we have a debate here on whether or not those dramatics are her.
Yeah, if it's acting,
or is it really just she kind of.
I don't know. I mean, because you know, to just be honest, I've only known her, you know, now, what would it be, maybe a couple of, you know, 3 or 4 months.
That's filming.
So, you know, I have no way of knowing who she really is because I've seen several different sides of her.
In that short period of time.
In a very short period of time.
New in a month.
Yeah, so it's sort of hard to say, is she acting or... is this really who she is?
Well, we're breathing too much life into her
Well, I
right now.
have a question before we transitioned. So, y'all were on the trip in Anguilla with she and Walter. What was you guys' take on that? Because we saw, I don't know about everybody else here, but it just looked a little awkward. But, we rolled with it. So how was it really?
Well, to be honest with you, my husband...
I mean, I just think, like, from my perception, Walter's a cool guy. Like, I know
He's
Walter
real cool.
off the show.
Yeah.
Did you know him before?
I knew him way before.
She did.
Oh, really?
I knew of him, but Walter, I just think that he was just going along for the ride. Walter likes younger women.
Yeah, he like them young and tender.
Well, then. That's his whole style.
Like his rims, 22
That's
or 24.
exactly what he said, on 20s.
So he, I just think that it was too much for him.
What do you guys think about the gay rumors that have been coming out lately? Of
Oh,
Walter?
he is not gay.
That's what.
He
Definitely.
is definitely not gay.
Thank you.
Is that just Kenya just being mean and
that's
trying to
just
nasty.
being vindictive, mean, hateful.
Okay.
Yeah, he is definitely not gay. I've known him since the 90s, honey. He was engaged to
And
one
he
of my
likes
very
younger
close
women.
friends.
Did he have that flat top
There
in
it
the 90s?
Stop.
You know what? I can't.
I'm done with you.
Take him to your barbershop, Apollo.
He does go to my barbershop. He goes to the same.
Y'all better
He
leave
goes
him
to the same
alone.
shop, but he lets the other guy cut his hair. Like
Well, tell him to upgrade it. Walter, no
he
hate.
can fade it a little bit.
She be
Just a little bit off the top,
But I think the flat top is coming back.
Not like that. Like my dad rocks that. He's like, yeah, like that's my dad. You know what I'm saying?
Girl, Walter could be your father.
Hey, you got that right. You got that right.
No shade on him.
No
I'm just,
shade,
All right,
flat top.
please.
It's cool. It's cool.
Enough with the dysfunctional couple. Let's move on. I was kind of hurt by this. I was. No one else.
Oh, I gotta hear this.
But my thing is, because I stick up for you on the show, so I felt Cynthia was being taking Kenya's side. Did you feel that way at all? Like, I felt like she was getting aggravated with you at the modeling thing with Aiden. I felt like she was getting aggravated with the whole tweet and the casting call.
He just
Well, I mean, this is the thing.
Messy.
Flip-flop a lot.
She flip-flops a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, so,
Yeah, 1 minute they're cool with you, and then the next thing you know, you look at TV and you're like, "Are you serious?"
Is Peter the same way?
I like
Nah, Peter's toned down a lot.
Yeah, he seems to. I mean, this season you get the guy. It's
Yeah,
like Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all are getting some.
You guys should get a show.
Like Peter really just he's cool now, but
Yeah.
like Cynthia, she's done some things that's kind of like, I would be at her office talking to her one day, everything's cool, and then next thing you know, you watch the episode, you're like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
but
it's-
to me, to talk about a 2-year-old that's volunteering to be in a fashion show is quite,
Yeah.
that's,
It's
definitely a
he's 2
bad
years
taste.
old. Like, that's
Bad
like,
taste, yes.
Now-
what do you expect a 2-year-old to do?
Right.
That's what 2-year-olds do. I mean,
How did you get
doesn't
involved
go to
with
school.
that? Did she ask you? Did the charity ask you?
Well,
Go ahead, please say
she
this.
asked
Yes, girl, I know
us
she
to, participate, and I was like, sure. But at the end of the day, he was the youngest child in the show. He's 2 years old.
Right.
He's not really used to being in a room with a lot of people like that. He doesn't. At that time, he wasn't even in school, or he was in school part time. 3 days a week. So, he's just not really used to that. And so I was like, anyone that's a parent, first of all, understands a 2-year-old is sort of off limits to me, because unless your child came and broke every dish in my house, I would never, make an ill comment about a child, because it's a child. I mean, and if you don't want my child in it, just say I don't think he.
But it's wild because she always asks to watch him, and then she wants
Cynthia?
to talk. Yeah,
her daughter keeps him quite a bit.
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
That's what was weird to me. Like, yeah. So.
Maybe she's just trying to create a better storyline. Sorry.
Or trying to create a storyline.
Oh, you tried it?
I'm just.
I like Cynthia.
I know you wanted to ask about Apollo and Peter's little.
Oh yeah. The whole thing. I think it was last season, right? Last season.
Yeah.
Where you and Peter had gotten into it
Exchange
at Kim's baby shower.
Yeah.
Was that real? I
Yeah,
mean,
that was real.
That was real.
Yeah.
Because you were scaring me for a minute. I was like, oh, let me just stay over here from the TV.
Yeah, that was real.
What really? First of all, the shower ended at 11, and I think they got there right at 11.
Right.
And so Peter came in. He was drunk, and then there was an interview that he did about my wife, and he was just saying some untasteful things. However, there was another gentleman that was at the table. You know, I don't really care about your gender or what your preference is or nothing like that. You should respect everybody.
Right.
So when he came and sat down, the comment that he made to one of the gentlemen that was at the table, it just blew me.
Okay.
And then he just started questioning me, and that's just not me. Don't talk to me.
Right.
And so I flipped out. I couldn't take it no more. So.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So how do you guys go about, like, you see, just like you just said, how Cynthia will be babysitting your baby one day, and then you see an episode like, whoa, where did that come from? How do you guys reconcile that after the episodes, and like it's 6 months later, are you still cool? How do you sort of get back? Do you guys talk about it?
We haven't talked about that. It's kind of like everyone has to develop some type of story. You have to have a storyline. You have to have something that's attracted to the audience. And at the end of the day, I believe that was just part of it. So you get caught in that moment.
And so it's kind of because you guys are part of the sisterhood of Real Housewives of Atlanta, there are certain things that it's like, oh, girl, she's just doing that for TV.
No,
well, that's what I said, but she was mad.
I don't say that.
Yeah, Phaedra was upset. I said
I'm
that.
like, people will try to persuade me to say all kinds of stuff about the ladies, and I don't do that. I mean, if it's something that I don't agree with, I never bash anybody. If you ever watch, I don't bash any of them. I try to support them, encourage them. That's not what I do. But we got a lot of haters on our show. So at the end of the day, I'm busy. I have a job. I have 3 thriving businesses. So
and you went to school.
And I went to school for a very long time. I have 4 degrees.
But wait,
we got thriving DVD.
Aren't you currently in school?
Yes, I'm getting my mortician's license. Yeah. And so, when I hear people talking about, well, I'm on this side, I'm on that side, I'm like, well, people are like, well, what do you have to say about them saying they take this person's side? Well, I'm like, I like an expert opinion. And so unless you can say to me that you have had a business, much like myself, for over 10 years that is doing very well, and you are managing several payrolls and doing it successfully, your opinion really doesn't count, honey.
But wait, come on, you got the free. What was the free movie she gave you, signed by Boris Kojo? I mean, that is just The Confidant. How was that? Was it good?
Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it on Redbox yet.
I haven't watched it on Centric, and I won't.
I'm just kidding. We're being messy.
Yeah,
but,
I didn't watch it.
No, it's still wrapped. She's saving it for you.
That's real.
One thing that this past episode that I don't know if I'm just late to the show or what, but I never really noticed your interactions with Nene. You guys don't seem like you honestly, not that you don't care for each other, but you're very cordial with each other when in person. But it's very... Although she did make that slide.
I feel she flip-flops.
I wanted you guys to love each other so much.
You would think, because you guys are both...
I have nothing against Nene. We're from the same hometown. But she has an issue with me.
She said she didn't know you, remember?
Yeah, she didn't know me then. She did know me because she called me on my cell phone for legal advice.
About the show and all that.
Yeah, so it's been really strange over the years. 1 minute, we're talking. The next minute, she's... bashing me. So I don't know what it is,
Just keep it cute.
So I'm just like, at the end of the day, her friendship doesn't pay any bills in Buckhead where I stay.
Holler.
So, it doesn't,
Do you feel any type of way when she says she is the star of the show, when she goes on TV and says things like that?
You know what? I'm pre-Housewives. So if I leave Housewives, as you well know, I'll have another show if that's what I choose to do. But if not, I'll have my funeral home, I'll have my law firm, and I'll have my production company and my thriving fitness video enterprise. And so, I'm not putting all my potatoes in that basket.
Right.
Because, I don't cry over spilled milk, honey, because I got 2 or 3 more gallons in the refrigerator.
And that's something else
I keep it moving.
I want to talk to you guys about, because on the show, you guys, I will definitely say this, are the most successful couple on the show.
Definitely.
You guys have stuck together. We don't hear rumors. There was one, I don't know, which I don't even know how that honestly started, because it seemed like it was something messy that either one of the girls was fed or the producers fed in, because it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, we were just like, huh?
Because, Paul, do you be in the strip clubs like that?
Yeah, I mean, for entertainment, I mean, I go, but it's not a secret in our marriage. Like, I go. So I don't care what they say. It's not their money.
And if you go into that strip club, because that...
Oh, no. Let me tell you. No,
was that a joke?
No, it had
to be a joke.
My wife was like, oh, we're going to the strip.
That is a historical place in Atlanta.
It is, but this is my thing.
Robert De Niro is there all the time.
My wife was like, we're going to the strip club.
Women?
I said, we're going to strip club? Oh, yeah, I can't wait. So I went, I got super fresh. I said, I put a couple bands in my pocket. I was like, let's go. When I walked in there, I was like, are you kidding me?
Wait, so I felt like I felt like Phaedra was like, oh no, if we're going to a strip club, it can't be none with no young little girls.
Well, no. In Atlanta, if anybody knows anything about Atlanta, the strip clubs have become more popular than churches.
Yes,
I mean, when you go in there, it's not like, I mean, you've got more women in there sometimes than men.
Yep.
It's turned into like
a club,
a regular venue, because we're just like strip club capital.
Right.
And so, I mean, people do business deals at strip clubs. I mean, some of the best food comes out of strip clubs.
Oh, man, real good food. Best food. No hot wings?
The hot wings.
So it's a little different in our city. It's not like something so weird or, taboo for Atlanta, because Atlanta's like home of the strip clubs.
Yeah.
Now going into the Atlanta Housewives or the Housewives franchise, and this is for both of you, did you guys ever feel it could put a damper on your marriage? Did you guys ever talk about this before filming?
No, we never really thought about it. We just kind of keep it moving and try not to let something, depart us. But
yeah.
I mean, you kind of know that it's out there. Things could happen, so you just got to kind of hold tight to one another and just always be aware that, something's lurking out there that wants to try to tear you apart and break you down.
Because really, at the end of the day, the show is about entertainment.
Right.
I mean, and some people, viewers really sometimes get really caught up in the show, and it's like, this show is about entertainment. I mean, and we obviously open up our homes and our lives for people to peer in, and some things are not as though, what you see on TV. They're a little different. But at the end of the day, it's for entertainment. So our show is really supposed to be funny, lighthearted, and, drama.
Yeah.
And, some people really get it confused, but pretty much I think Housewives is like the modern day soap operas.
Exactly. Yeah.
We took the place of All My Children, basically.
Yes, you did.
And everything else that went off the air.
Yeah.
So how have you guys been able to keep your relationship going, just in general, not even with the show? Or what is it that you guys do in your relationship to keep it?
You can't stop. I mean, we have kids, we have a house. I mean, we live a regular life as well. So we have businesses. It's not consumed with the TV show. And
you guys are business partners together in some of the things that you guys are moving forward.
Definitely, yeah.
What kind of upcoming? I know. All right, so we got the DVD coming out, and I heard that there might be a part 2. Or
part 2 is coming in 10 days.
In 10 days?
Wow! Yeah, that's a total. Tell me about it.
It's a total body toning, upper and lower body. The first one was more geared towards the lower body and the core, but the second DVD is based on basically upper body, shoulders, core, and still lower body and calves. So.
And how did you guys get the name Fine Body?
Well, it was given to us.
Well, no, we wanted a name that everyone could relate to. I mean, and so while Donkey Booty was very popular because people had heard me say it on the show, so we wanted to incorporate it, but we didn't want the series to be called Donkey Booty because we knew that this was just the first of many videos. So we don't think small. We think enterprise. We trying to do the Donald Trump thing over here. Warren Buffett over here, baby. Exactly. We're not trying to be rich. We're trying to be wealthy.
I know that's right.
And so we're trying to sow seeds to have a huge enterprise. And so, fine. No matter where you are, fine is a good thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And so my name starts with PH. So we were like, fine. So we've got we're going to do a pregnancy fitness video.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, we'll follow that up with getting back in shape after pregnancy.
Nice. Got a plan.
And going out to the modern market, that's very smart.
Yeah, then we're going to work on men's video. So that's why we did the Nida Fitness. That's our last name, of course, because like I was telling her, I don't think men want to be associated with Defined Body, but you know, it's a brand that all falls under Nida Fitness. So even the production, everything falls under.
But it is unisex.
I was gonna say fine body is a fine body.
Men want to be fine.
Right.
But I mean, it's definitely unisex. I encourage the men to do the DVD as well with their partner. Even though it's lower body, a lot of men don't like to focus on their lower body.
But it's an important part too.
It is.
That's right.
It is.
I actually want to show a clip of from the DVD, Marissa, if you can roll that in.
And, you know, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Appreciate it.
All right, and you guys shot this. That was it.
Oh my God! I think she cut it a little short.
Right to the get right to the point there. Did you guys shot that actually out here in LA?
Yeah.
Now we didn't have what was Kenya's giant stage that she wanted to build?
No, there wasn't a stage. Those were two church pews.
Two church pews are too much.
It looked like two church pews. I was just at worship right there. But anyway.
I mean, but the company that we chose, I mean, because they are the experts, you know, the leading experts in fitness.
It's a very smart move on your
videos. I mean, it was seamless. When I say all of this, like the stuff that she was doing, like let's do this casting, none of that. I mean, these people were so professional. They pretty much did all the work.
They said, what kind of person you want in the background?
What
Okay,
kind of,
she's there. Curve, everything, okay, she's there. She knows the moves, she knows how to dance. We didn't have to ask anything. This is what you're looking for. What do you want? We want a house. We want this scenery.
Nice.
And so we just made choices, and we, you know, if you've seen it, it's shot at a beautiful home in the hills.
Did you guys choose that home in the Hollywood Hills?
Yeah, well, we told them we told them the look that we were looking for. We wanted something sleek and sexy, but we wanted something at a home, because this is obviously for people to do at home, and so we wanted some scenery so you could see, you know, beautiful California. And they found wonderful locations, sent us over 3 locations. Boom. I mean, it was none of this rigmarole, no drama, no.
And I like that it wasn't a lot of people in the video. It was just bam, bam, bam. So I'm not having to pay attention to who should I be looking at, who can I keep up with. Right. And it seems, I mean, you're a great instructor. The way you break down the movements, it really is, you know, sometimes you be watching some DVDs and you like, I can't how do I do that? Like, they be using words that you're like, what the heck am I supposed to move? Like, I honestly, it was, I came in, I was really impressed with the production of it and how you guys put it together.
Thank you.
And I think now we can actually show the clip.
The full clip. Yeah, I don't like that move, by the way.
Which one?
The leg.
The plank and a leg lift, and I was like, what? Ouch.
And that is a gorgeous house that we got going on there.
Yeah.
Now, what made you choose the partner, the other girl?
Ayla. Well, Ayla is, I wanted someone that was, you know, much like myself, she was a cheerleader in high school, but I wanted someone that was just cute, young, had a little nice little boom boom, and they sent over several girls, and I met Ayla, and we just hit it off instantly.
Also, you're going to see more firmness in your abdominals. So
yeah, that house is everything too.
Honey, that house was everything.
Your up and just give her that nice curve that she
And so you guys use a lot of products from around the house that we don't have to go out and buy weights.
Right.
Yeah, because
the cans, the milk jug.
I love it.
And fitness should be affordable, you know, and so we priced it at $12.95. You know, cheaper than a hamburger at a nice restaurant. So, you know, you can feel good about the purchase. And, you know, you got a milk jug, you got some canned green beans, and that's all you need.
Now,
okay.
I know you guys kind of had a little, you guys not really, but you butt heads a little bit when it came to how we wanted to make the DVD. So is that why you're doing the men's, so that you can kind of do your own hardcore, intense workout?
Well, I wasn't.
Phaedra wanted the more chill workout. Because I'm with Phaedra. I want to work out.
She said she wanted a chill workout, but like I slept on it. So I actually, you know, I designed the workouts kind of overnight, and I woke up the next day, and then we flew out here. Mm-hmm. And she was like, "Do you have the contents?" I was like, "Yeah, we got it." So we actually practiced that morning. But when you get going, it's not
a show.
Like she was yeah, it's going to work. It's going to do what it needs to do.
It definitely works.
Burns.
It definitely burns, but it is anaerobic.
Have you tried it?
You know,
I've tried some of the moves that I saw online, and like I said, the planking and the leg lifting, and I was like,
party over.
Yeah. I don't even,
but you know, you really don't sweat like you know. It's anaerobic to a certain extent because you're not just like drenched in sweat and all funked out. But you're getting results because you're going against your own resistance, your own body weight. And, you know, Apollo is definitely like Evel Knievel on steroids. So I'm like, do your thing, you know, because he goes to the gym and does that CrossFit and jump on bars and all this kind of stuff. Ooh, child, he's in there for 2.5 hours. And the average person, you know, 2.5 hours.
30 minutes.
Ain't got time for
30 to 45 minutes and I'm done.
Well, I wanted to do a men's version because I want to try to compete with, you know, your Insanity and you know those type of products. I feel like I have what it takes to actually get out in that market and compete. Just because I'm all about competition.
Now, would you use the idea that you had at first, which was to go in the gym and give that, you know, hardcore workout, or would you maybe say, you know what, Phaedra had the smart idea, what if I applied that to men?
No, it's going to be
to give men at home. Because
well, no, it's going to be.
Can you please do something for me to work out?
Well, no,
You gotta get that DVD.
It'll definitely be a home. It will be at home because like my whole thing, like my whole makeup is basically inner core, and it's all anaerobic and basically calisthenics. That's where I first started.
That's what I love.
So I can start. You can start there and really build a great foundation. That's what I always encourage people to do. You build the foundation first because you have what is called inner muscle growth and outer muscle tissue. So what it is, the calisthenics build the inside, which is more sturdy, and it's going to basically build the core and build the muscle from the inside out. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
It just sounds hard.
Right.
I give up. So what are some things, Apollo, that you're actually working on? Because to me, it seems like every episode, you're the nutrition guy. Then you selling a bean pie, a barber, a shirt guy. I'm like, he's on every business venture.
No. I mean,
what do you do?
Well,
Jack of all trades.
well, no, like I'm always like we've always like stayed clear of me. I tried to stay out the way because at one point, you know, I had just came home from prison, doing 6 years, and you know, being on parole and all that stuff is a lot of scrutiny. So you got to kind of stay in one because they wasn't even really fond of the show. So that's why I kind of just try to stay out of it. But no, I have halfway houses in Atlanta, a program that we run. It's under Nida Group. Then I have an asset recovery business that we're about to launch and go. I've been doing it, but you know, we're about to go more public with that.
Okay.
So
as far as the Nida Group?
Well, that's under a National Recovery Association. That's what that's under, but it's still umbrellaed under Nida something.
Nida something.
Yeah. But and then you know I have homes. I came out. I bought some real estate, so we have properties as well.
Oh yeah, that's what you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay, so you guys do everything,
right? Literally.
Which is beautiful and wonderful and amazing. So I know I'm tired,
and I know
too, Chad.
But it's inspirational and it's beautiful. My question though is sort of going back to this idea of the show. Somebody that, I mean, you're a lawyer, you have your businesses and you're doing all that. What makes you decide, you know what? Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm going to do that. Like, what really drove you to do that?
Okay, to be very honest with you, before I joined the show, I was doing legal work for the show, for the production company. So,
right, because you knew Todd.
I knew Todd, but I worked for, you know, some of the castmates as the lawyer, you know, as their lawyer. So when they called, I was pregnant, and I said, well, I'm not going to be able to join it. So then they said, well, you know what? Have you ever thought about being in front of the camera? And that's really, I really like being the producer. I like being a writer. I don't have to be in front of the camera. I'm not like an attention seeker like others. But in the whole, you know, question of, you know, what you're asking, when I used to watch The Housewives, which I wasn't an avid watcher of the show because I really didn't think that it embodied what Atlanta stood for. Because anyone who is very familiar with Atlanta and the historical significance of Atlanta knows that Atlanta has probably the most historically black colleges, the most educated people of color, meaning black people, per capita of doctors and black lawyers, you know, in the United States. And so when I'm watching a show that's touting the real of my city, I'm expecting to see something that shows minimally a professional person.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Atlanta, we have, you know, our mayor is a 40-year-old, you know, lawyer. We're very close friends, known him for years. You know, everyone is well educated, and, you know, we're not a city where everyone is just married to an athlete, you know, or, you know, drinking wine all day, sitting at the mall. We're a city of young people who are very courageous,
Yes.
well educated, and really ambitious. And so I didn't see that. Of course, Candy, that's my dog, that's my BFF. She embodies that because, you know, she's a self-starter, go-getter,
Right.
Yep.
a boss.
A boss.
Multi-millionaire boss. Can't take it away from her. I love her. And that's why we get along, because we obviously have like minds.
Very down to earth.
Definitely. But I didn't see that on the show. And so really, when they asked me, that was during the era of Precious and all that. And so,
Yes.
you know, when I see people of color on TV, I never want people to just say, people of color only do this. You know, if you're in a city where you don't have people of color and you see a show like that, you might actually believe that all people of color and act like this, and you stereotype them. And so I wanted to bring a fresh perspective. And, you know, sometimes in order to do that, you have to put yourself, you know, on the firing range. And, you know, really that's what I did. But at the end of the day, when people see me, I hope that they see, well, wow, this is a well-educated person. This is a person who has, you know, who travels the road less traveled.
Yes.
This is a person who really stands for something. This is a person who has chosen education over stripping, you know, who has, you know, chosen to work versus to marry well. This is a person who prides themselves on being smart versus being beautiful. And, you know, as a
But
young
still
woman,
beautiful,
yeah, but
nonetheless.
as a young woman, you can have it all. Your value is not in your vagina, and it's not in your face. It's in your brain.
Preach.
You know, so that's what I want people to see, you know, because that's what Atlanta's about. We have beautiful women with nice bodies and all that, but they got even better brains.
Come on.
And so that was important for me to show that, because I didn't, at that time, you know, most of the women on there were not portraying what Atlanta's truly about.
Got that right.
As far as
That
you,
was nice. Can we get a round of applause?
All
We shall overcome. Hallelujah.
Appreciate that.
Because
Yes.
when you guys do watch,
was
you
good.
both of you on the show, it's a couple that is together. You guys are fighting together. You show up to events together. You are moving forward in the business world together. I mean, I know you're not really as much a fan, Apollo, of the funeral home business.
But I can say, like, I went to, she did a funeral, a pet funeral, and it was awesome.
Well, so
Did you have a marching band there? Do
Oh
you
my
share
goodness,
with the
no.
pets?
But I respect the
Not the
business, but
pets?
it's just difficult for me to.
involve
I prefer to be on the other side, like maybe if she needs an investor or something.
I'll just give you the money.
Like I don't.
But see, the
Where
thing,
did you get that from?
Well, I mean, and I had, you know, I had like 3 years where a lot of my friends died very tragically. And so in those 3 years, I mean, like suicide, murder, illnesses, and I mean my law partner, my sister-in-law, I mean really people that were very close to me. And you know, in the grieving process, I wanted to make sure that they had a proper send-off. You know, I know people, you know, it's just, you know, a lot of people see it very differently than me, but I respect the funeral rites, and I respect, you know, the whole process of the death, you know, and you know, preparing the body and all that stuff. And I don't want to make a mockery out of it, like I've seen some things recently, because really it's about celebrating that person's life in a very respectable manner. And, you know, I first got started with, programs, doing very elaborate programs, embellishing them with, rhinestones and all kind of fancy paper and ribbon and, just beading and a lot of handwork. And, people started calling me, do this. And then I started with makeup. And, and then, I said, well, if I'm going to do makeup, going to do the programs, I should probably make a living because I think it's a calling. I think it's a ministry. And, grief is such, a very difficult time for anyone. And Apollo and I both just lost our grandmothers during the Christmas holidays. And so, I personally have experienced this so many times. And so if I can help anyone's grief by giving them, a shoulder to cry on, a beautiful, presentation of a body, and giving them that final, rite of passage to heaven, hopefully. It's unbelievable what that means to a family when you go into a funeral home and someone really cares and they do the proper aftercare. Because anytime, I work with the family, I always call, I follow up with them. How are you doing? I send them a text. I hope everything's well because, the grieving process really starts after the funeral. But to see that loved one and be able to physically see that person looking just as good or better than they did when they were alive, I mean, it's just, it's really special. And, in our Black community in particular, funerals, they are a very big deal.
Yes, they are.
Oh, yeah.
Very big deal.
And in the South, man.
Yeah, and my husband had never really, I don't think, attended a Black funeral until he attended my grandmother's funeral. And, I think he was sort of probably shocked that
I rode the buggy, the horse and carriage.
The extent of the planning and preparation that I did for him.
I might respect the business, like her mentor Willie Watkins. I mean, Willie Watkins. It's awesome. I mean, just his whole setup and presentation. I mean, the man has when you look at from the financial aspect all the way down to just being there for the families over years. Like even my uncle. He worked on the funeral home. He fell off the roof, doing the roof. That's how long they've been there. Like I'm from Atlanta, born and raised, and so it's a legacy. And at the end of the day, when you see 75 limousines outside, and all of them are brand new and nice, and you're like, wow, this is really a big business, huge. And then they're all over the nation. So
has Best Funeral ever approached you?
Have you seen Best Funeral
You were
ever?
going to ask that?
No, because I was going to say I caught her read when
Me
she
too.
said,
I was ready. I was
there's
waiting.
some things lately that I've seen.
Some shows.
I was waiting for you to read them.
Yeah, I mean, the funeral business is a respectable business. It's an honorable business. And for anybody to make a mockery of death, that is very disturbing to me. And, in the Black community, the funeral rites are probably the one time that Black people, in particular, certain classes of Black people, have the opportunity to ride in a Cadillac limousine.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the one time that we all come together and we show out. And not show out as in acting a fool and doing foolish stuff. I mean, we have a send-off like a king, because that's very important to us in our community. So anytime I see anything that tries to devalue it or, mock the whole process, I'm not fond of that.
And moving, actually, you just said to, treated like a king. Aiden himself is a prince that he is. I mean, we had his christening. He was carried in.
He was carried.
12
the
cakes.
baby shower. Let's rewind to the baby shower.
He had a dance routine.
Dancers. Alvin Ailey was
I got kind of jealous.
Now, I'm assuming Apollo had all these ideas.
I'm kind of against the over the top for the child because it's so early. But she's all for it. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna attend. I just think that it's it's too much.
Now,
it's too much.
Question for you, because I mean, with my mother, when she first had me, we had elaborate birthday parties, which I only remember one. I do remember. I was very young. I do remember one though. But so now you're having your second child.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, are you going to
Like,
continue these out? How do you outdo the
it?
beluga whales next year for Aiden?
Well, you know, and what people don't realize is I really consult with Aiden to make the choice, and I just make it fabulous. I mean, Aiden, you know, I allow him to say, you know, we had the first water park, you know, the water park party, you know, and the show really didn't go into the significance of that.
That was nice.
But the water park party is because Aiden and I, we were taking swim classes, but the reason I had it there is because that water park is my aunt's water park.
Oh.
My aunt is the first black and woman to ever be elected to citywide government in that city. And she actually passed of cancer before I was married. And so I wanted to not only celebrate her memory, but her whole platform was families, and families being able to have, you know, affordable family time, and to have a place for every child to be able to enjoy a water park. And so, you know, she had drawn up the plans well before she, you know, she passed, and they were building it, but she died before she could see it, you know, to total fruition of cancer. And so it was important for me to honor her legacy by having, you know, my baby's party there, because she never got to see him. But he loved swimming class. But I wanted her to know that, you know, I'm a Southern Belle because of her. I mean, she's the ultimate AKA. Well, she was the ultimate AKA, and she gave me my first tea set. And I mean, I wanted to really honor her by having it there and having my whole family there, and having people see, you know, what can happen if you work hard. I mean, because she's in history, and I mean, she's in real history. She ain't the second none. She is the first and only woman to be elected to city government in Gainesville, Georgia, Hall County. So yeah, so that was the importance of that.
I love her.
Yeah.
I love how
My soror too.
Oh, yes.
I love how at face value on that show, I guess they can't get into everything, but it seems like it was just an extravagant party, but there's a backstory to it, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome.
Well, what'd y'all do with the cakes? Did you eat them all?
Well, you know what? We gave them to people in the community. So we gave them to, you know, because that's actually a real park. And so we allowed the park to keep most of the cakes, and we kept a few for ourselves because we do like cake now.
Yeah, me too.
Nothing's like a good cake, honey.
Can I ask you, how did Dwight come into the birthday party?
Now, Dwight planned our wedding.
Really?
Yeah, Dwight is a very close friend of mine. I love Dwight, and Dwight is a legend in Atlanta, honey. When you think of fabulous, it's Dwight. I mean, he is just all about fabulosity.
But a fashion show with no fashions is dreadful. So great. That's what he said. Just saying.
Okay, so from the show we have Dwight, Candy. Who else would you say from the show are you actually would consider friends, not associates of the show or TV friends, outside? If you were you're in LA now, if all the girls just happen to be here, who would you call up to hang out with?
Probably Candy.
Candy. Not Portia?
Well, I do like Portia.
Met Portia.
But I mean, I really hadn't known her for a long time. I just spoke to her actually en route here. But you know, I just met her very recently. She seems like a very nice girl, but we just haven't had a lot of interaction together. And so, like last week when you saw that we had coffee, because she had invited me to an event at her house, and you know, my baby had got sick and I couldn't go, and so she had invited me to have tea, and so I joined her. And you know, but that's like the only time because I met her in Anguilla, so I had never known her before Anguilla, and you know.
Wow.
So, I mean, but she seems like a really nice girl, but I just hadn't had a lot of time. But with my schedule, most of my closest friends, I've had them since childhood.
Right.
Or I would assume work.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm working, and when I'm not working, honey, you know, I'm being a mommy. When I'm not being a mommy, I'm being a wife. When I'm not doing that, I'm trying to at least get 1 or 2 hours of sleep.
Come on.
How do you balance it out? Because I know at first, when we first started watching the show, Paula, you were more the house husband. You were at home taking care of Aiden. And then
don't let the TV fool you, because, honey,
so
that was editing. Honey, that must have been some editing.
You know, and I know we were talking, and Apollo, you were telling me about all these businesses that you're taking care of. So how do you guys find the balance of taking care of the baby, especially with the new baby coming? And
oh, well, if it wasn't for her mom's a teacher, but her mom retired early, and we decided
just so that we wouldn't have a strange nanny in the house.
Right. Oh, okay. So you know, we put her on payroll basically, and she comes Tuesday through Friday to help us out. So she's there live-in. So it kind of, you know, frees us up. But before, like, I've tried to, I was trying to do things, I guess, outside of that schedule. So now I've kind of made it to where I try to do everything Thursday through Friday and try to be there, you know, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
So you're on a schedule now, because on the show you were, I don't go by time.
I want to say I'm not on the schedule, but I try to be mindful that if I need to do something, it's imperative to do it within that.
The vector of time has not conformed with my vector.
That's so funny. So, Phaedra, do you miss Sheree and Kim, like working with them on the show?
And what the hell is wrong with Kim, by the way?
What do you mean what's wrong
Why
with
did
Kim?
she leave?
Well, you know what?
Everyone calling her racist.
Oh, no. You know, everything has a season. And,
Her
you know,
season was up.
Kim fell in love with Croy. And, you know, like I asked her at that table today, you know, sometimes you're in a place in your life where you don't have time to hang out with your girlfriends because you have more important things to do.
Priorities.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm not mad at anyone that prioritizes their family over hanging with some chicks. That's keeping it all the way 100. So, I mean, you know, she's got her own show now. She's got a husband. She's got 2 small infants. And she's got 2 teenage girls. So that's a lot. So, I mean, I ain't mad at Kim. I mean, do you.
There was a little controversy at that last meeting you guys had, the lunch meeting, where somebody said she said the N-word.
I never heard her say that. I don't know what that was because I never heard her say that. And if she said it, we know they would have played it. So I don't know what lunch that was at, but it wasn't the brunch I was attending because I've never heard her say that. I mean, and, you know, everybody always want to use the race card when it comes to Kim. You know, I've never had a racist incident with Kim personally. You know, her and Nene have the longest relationship because they obviously knew each other from, you know, the night scene or whatever. And I'm not trying to be funny, but
I know, but you're hilarious.
But so you know, my dealings with her, you know, I've always been positive. Croy and Apollo, you know, they both love four-wheeling and all that kind of dangerous.
So their relationship is real, legit. They are in love.
Croy and Kim?
Yeah, they got kids.
Yeah, they like white on rice.
I know that, but a lot of people are trying to be messy, and I do think it's legit. I do think that finally
relationship is quite legit.
Because you can see how Kim has totally changed.
Crazy about her. She is crazy. Yeah. I mean, they're inseparable. I don't see Kim anywhere without him. Never.
So do you miss filming with her and Sheree?
Girl, stop bringing Sheree up.
What is Sheree got to do with
what happened with Sheree? Relax. You ask your 50 questions.
Well, I mean, you know what? I can't. I mean, I'm so busy. I don't have time to miss anything, to just be very honest. You know, things change. Yeah. I don't have an issue with either of them. It is what it is. I mean,
is Chateau Sheree built yet?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard that there was progress on it. Then I heard, you know, I don't know. I don't have time to worry about anybody else, honey, because I got to take care of my own household. I ain't got.
Do you know what you're having?
I don't. We're waiting.
We're waiting. We just have, you know, picked names out and threw them out there in a hat.
Oh.
And we're just gonna
whichever one comes up.
They're unisex names, so we just, you know, but no, we don't know yet.
Okay.
There you go. Courtney, you got anything else?
Does Aiden have a desire for a brother or sister?
He wants a sister. He's been very, very, very vocal about, I want his sister. I'm like, oh, because he has a cousin. His brother has a 5-month-old daughter.
Oh, really?
And so he even went to school and said that was his sister. And I said, no, that is your cousin. That is. And so everyone at school was like, oh, so you're having a girl and you're naming her, what's the little girl's name? Anaya. I was like, no, I don't know about that now. I'm like, that's his cousin. But, you know, when we see her, he wants to bring her home with us. He's like, let's bring our sister home. And I'm like, oh. So he's a loving little boy. So, you know, I think he's going to be a great big brother.
Great big brother.
Aw,
Very exciting. Well, we want to thank you guys so much for coming.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
You guys were a lot of fun. One last time before we let you go, where can we order your DVD?
Give it to him, baby.
Just go to finebody.com,
That's-
P-H-I-N-E, body, B-O-D-Y.com.
And where can we follow you guys to keep?
Oh, yeah. We're both on Twitter. He is.
Apollo Nida 03.
And I'm at Phaedra Parks.
Esquire.
I don't want to follow
No, it's not even Esquire. It's just at Phaedra Parks on Instagram. And he's Apollo Nida 03 on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Phaedra Parks. I just keep it simple. I just keep it real easy for the people.
I love
There
it.
you go. Well, thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys come back and join us.
We had a great time. It was really fun.
And as far as you guys out there, make sure you guys hit us up on iTunes. Please download, rate, subscribe, and leave us a comment. If you leave us a comment with your Twitter handle, we will give you a shout out on the show. You can follow me on Twitter at DJ Jesse J.
Follow me at Stuart Starlet.
Mykee 3000 Watts.
At Just Saying 08 and follow my blog justsaying08.com.
It's the bomb. Until next week, same time, same place. Peace.
Bang.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
See you later.
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.